This episode is sponsored by Close. With over 10 years of experience crafting hand-built composite instruments, Close provides the widest selection of premium carbon fiber instruments in the world, from acoustics to ukuleles, electrics and basses, even mandolins. When picking an instrument, Close doesn't want you to have to make a choice between performance and portability. These instruments stay in tune and intact, whether you're hopping venues or cresting mountains. Every Close instrument is plecked, which means you'll get low action and buttery smooth playability each time you pick up your instrument. Check out Close to find instruments you'll not only take with you, but ones you won't want to leave behind. All right, hey, music lovers, it's Byron with Musical Miles Podcast, and I'm here with Mr. Stormy Warren.
What's going on, Byron?
Man, we're just having a great time here. We're in Las Vegas, and it's a great town at any time, but we're here for the Songwriter Festival.
The inaugural
Songwriter Festival, Vegas Songwriter Festival, which was put together by some wonderful people, Rob Hatch, and Mike Every from Eversong, and some wonderful people that have just worked their ass off to make this come together.
Yeah, it took a miracle to get this thing pulled off. I mean, you're talking 50 of the greatest songwriters ever in country music. They create the soundtracks to our lives. And to be in one building with the talent, 300 number one hits.
I know. And what's amazed me is that we have really unfettered access to them.
Yeah.
And you, I mean, you're used to it. You know every one of these writers. You've met them, and because this is what you do for a living.
I gambled with Paul Overstreet till 2 a.m. this morning.
Did you really?
Yes.
Well, yesterday, I had the opportunity to sit down with him for a few minutes, and luckily, how I got that made that happen was he played a gig not too long ago with Due West. Do you know the boys from Due West? Tim Gates. And of course, Tim and those guys, well, Tim does play, but his two partners, Matt and I'm going to screw this up. Now I can't remember his other name. Anyway, they play Teton Guitars, which we have a deal with Teton Guitars. That's an Idaho company.
Oh, wow.
And so they're like 10 miles from my house. So we interviewed.
What part of Idaho are you in?
We're just South Idaho Falls, right in the I-15 corridor.
Oh, that's funny.
Snake River Valley.
My business partner lives in Cascade, so.
Okay. We tease those guys up there. They're well, he's closer to Boise.
Yeah.
Cascade is. We tell all them guys in the Panhandle they might as well be from Washington. That's a long ways from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're 90 miles from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, gotcha.
And West Yellowstone, and in our homes 200 yards off the Snake River.
I want to come.
Come. You're welcome anytime.
I would love to.
We'd love to take you. I don't know, do you fly fish?
Oh, yeah.
One of my best friends is a retired stuntman. That's all he does is fly fish.
Well,
and so whenever you're coming.
I'm in.
Well, and he's friends with, gosh dang it, I'm drawing blanks today. He was partners with Charlie Daniels. He was his road manager. Blue Hat Records.
David
Corlew. And David, so he introduced me to David, and I did not get to meet David when we were in Nashville, but we talked on the phone.
David's one of my best friends.
You and David come out. We'll go fly fishing.
I'm in.
And David's a cowboy, so we'll come out there and we'll shoot some sporting clays. We'll do a little fly fishing.
Okay. Well, then this podcast is done.
We're in. Okay. Well, we'll just get it planned whenever you want to come. And even if it's, of course, RJ lives right at the base of the Tetons, unobstructed view of the Grand Teton Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a skier. So if you ski,
yeah.
So you can come in the winter. We can shoot in the wintertime too. So because we shoot out of a heated building.
I don't know why you're selling this so hard. I'm already in.
All right, you're in. Okay. Well, let's talk more about Stormy Warren. You've been in the communication industry for how many years now?
42.
42.
I started at 13 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My first radio show at 13.
13 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
I took a field trip in 7th grade. And I made the teacher take us to my favorite radio station. It was a top 40 radio station. Billy Idol's Rebel Yell was my favorite song at the time.
Okay.
And I would call in and request it. And occasionally it would play. And I didn't know how radio worked at all, but I wanted to see the curtain pulled back on Oz.
Right.
So we took a field trip to a radio station, and I never looked back. I went back the very next day after football practice, still in my football pads, my pants, rode my bicycle to the radio station, and they went, "What are you doing back here?" And I'm like, "I'm not leaving." And so I swept floors,
Really?
answered request lines, did whatever they wanted me to do. And then finally, at the end of 13, he goes, "I can't believe I'm doing this." The program director goes, "You remind me a lot of myself, so I'm going to give you a shot."
That is awesome.
And I've never looked back.
That is cool. So how long you been in Nashville?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years in Nashville. So where was your first job in Nashville when you came to Nashville?
I worked for the Nashville network, TNN.
TNN.
I worked for a show called Crook and Chase.
Yes.
And
yes.
They had a TNN Country News was the show. It was a daily entertainment show about country music, and I was a field reporter for 9 years. I did that.
Well, I've remembered you. I mean, I've known of Storme Warren for many, many years and watched you. And then after TNN, where'd you go?
I started my own production company.
Okay.
And we created a television show called Headline Country.
Okay.
Which was kind of a rip-off, and honestly, a rip-off. Sorry, Lorianne and Charlie, of their TNN was off the air by then.
Okay.
And so we went over to GAC, Great American Country. And so we started our own version of that show, and that lasted almost 15 years.
Okay. And now you have a show on, is it on Sirius or?
I was on Sirius XM on the highway for 17 years.
That's right.
And then now I work with Garth Brooks on a channel called the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Okay.
And we've been doing that for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay.
So he owns the channels.
He owns the channels.
He called me up and he goes, "Hey, you want to come over and help me with this thing?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's tough.
When Garth calls you
and asks.
And we've known each other for 30 years, so it was a very mutual trust.
Well, you're both Okies.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is unique. But there's been a lot of great music come out of Oklahoma.
Oh, Toby Keith, Reba McEntire, Vince Gill, the list goes on.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
Joe Diffie.
Yeah. Not to mention even some of that red dirt stuff a little further over there at Stillwater, sure. Cross Canadian Ragweed.
100%.
And those guys. We've actually interviewed Cody Canada, and we love that red dirt Texas country. We love music in general.
I love the revival they're getting with the Red Clay Strays.
Oh, Texas my gosh.
The Turnpike Troubadours.
Saw them at Red Rocks last spring.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And Shane Smith and the Saints.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'll tell you something that's really, really picked up and really helped at least the Texas country deal. What's helped Cowboys and helped Lainey Wilson? Yellowstone.
Sure.
Yellowstone just reignited.
Jackson Dean.
Yes, Jackson Dean.
That's how he popped off, was because of that show.
Yes, yeah. And we saw Jackson last summer in Colorado at, what's it called? Yeah, Country Jam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we saw them at Country Jam.
Which RIP Country Jam, it's over.
Is it over?
I think so.
Well,
is that the one in Grand Junction?
Yeah, just south of Grand Junction.
Yeah,
Mac.
Yeah.
Well, they about killed it last year because one, they canceled the whole first day because of threat of lightning. We never saw a bolt of lightning and missed an entire day.
It's
of
heartbreaking.
music.
I hosted that festival for a number of years.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, they said it was under new ownership the last 4 or 5 years, and it just
didn't work.
It didn't work, and so
festival business is hard right now.
Well, I can only imagine because, and we talk about this not only in the music, but we're all competing for the same set of ears, and we only have 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
How much time do people have to listen to?
So many dollars in the wallet.
And well, even the free stuff, podcasts, radio, music. Yep. I mean, your type of music and stories, because you do a podcast as well. Yeah. So the challenge is how do you?
It's called the Stormy Cast, by the way. Check it out wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Absolutely, on all streaming live.
Shameless plug brought to you by Storme Warren.
And that's why we invited you here. So you've got to have me as a guest on your show.
Oh yes, no problem.
I would love to. But what we're doing is we're trying to a little bit pull the curtain back. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Pull the curtain back from the radio business, from the music business, because so many people, ourselves included, and we've been huge fans for all our lives. We've been married 43 years. We have we had a live band at our wedding reception. and we have traveled from Key West, Florida to Canada to Mexico. Wherever we go, we've sought out live music. Lived in Hawaii, and we would seek out live music every chance we got. And so there's no replacing live music, the live music experience. But once again, back to the festivals, there's only so many dollars to spend. The economy's a little different today. It's a challenge for everybody, even this.
So I host all the country thunder festivals all over North America.
Okay.
So we do Canada, we do Wisconsin, Arizona, Florida.
Right.
And it is so much fun. And that festival circuit is very much alive and well. But it's not a great time to start a festival.
Right. Well, this one, I mean, and Rob will tell you, and Mike, 2 weeks ago, they were nervous.
Yeah.
And we flew to Nashville. We flew to Nashville on our dime to interview Rob and those guys to help promote this. And so I was, and we've been plugging it all along and resharing their stuff on social media.
Sure.
But it always makes me nervous.
Well, Vegas is a tough town to try to predict success because it's a walk-up town. People do not plan in advance in Las Vegas. They look 2 hours before an event starts and goes, "Oh, what's going on tonight?" And then they showed up. They showed up.
True story. Weekend. They did show up. I was amazed at that first night. They had, of course, Lee Brice. How do you not fill up a theater with Lee Brice? And it was a last minute deal. Not because they didn't really make that public till recently,
like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. So it was a challenge, but what a star, what a guy. Lee Brice is such a talented artist.
Let me tell you my favorite Lee Brice story.
I'd love to hear it.
So we're in a pool in Key West, Florida, just the two of us. It was the last day of the Songwriters Festival.
Uh-huh.
And we'd been friends for a long time. And he was just getting ready to release his first solo album. And he's like, "Stormy, I need your opinion." He goes, "About 2 a.m. at the Bottle Cap, you freaked out over a song I played." I said, "Yeah." "Was it that Memory song?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right." And he swims over to the other side of the pool, and then he comes back like an alligator with his eyes just right above the waterline. And he comes swimming up and he goes, "What if somebody else was interested in that song? Should I keep it or should I give it away?" And I said, "Unless it's Garth Brooks, you keep that song." And he swims away, comes back and spits water in my eyes. And he goes, "It's Garth effing Brooks." I'm like, "Well, you got to give it away." Turns out to be the very first #1 song debut in country music history.
And who wrote it?
Lee Brice.
Lee Brice and?
Rob Hatch, right?
No. He was just in here.
Oh, Billy Montana. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Love that song. What a beautiful song.
Oh, it was amazing.
And of course, Lee played one the other night that he wrote with somebody, but Eli Young cut it. What song is that?
Crazy Girl.
Crazy Girl.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Well, and then when we were in Nashville, we got to interview Joe Leathers. Mm-hmm. And Joe Leathers wrote with Lee Brice.
Constantly they write.
And they wrote still.
Yeah.
And they thought, and even Joe said, we thought Lee would cut it and McGraw cut it.
Yeah.
So it's just the song swap and the stuff that goes on.
The reason I do what I do is because of the songwriter.
Oh, absolutely.
I love our artists. I love our music on the radio, but my complete obsession is the songwriter. And it always has been and always will be. They're the most important part of the soundtracks to our lives. And we don't have music without them. And we need to celebrate them. We need to raise them up. And the fact that there is now a fan base for the singer-songwriter, like as we're witnessing this weekend.
Absolutely.
And in Key West, and we do the Maui Songwriters Festival. And it's amazing to me to see that it is a viable career just to be a singer-songwriter.
Yes. Well, there's 3 in Montana, Red Lodge, Livingston, and Whitefish.
Yep.
And
I've wanted to host the Whitefish one for a long time.
We're headed there in 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm jealous.
You know who's going to be there? Even Stevens going to be there.
One of my favorite humans on the planet.
Bryce Long, Marla Cannon Goodman, and Aaron Ratier.
Oh, He's a nutball.
We met him last year, and I didn't get to interview him, but I said, Aaron, would you be on my podcast? He said, absolutely. I said, when do you want to do it? He goes, well, I got to go pee right now.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, and he might have been a little inebriated. So we decided to wait.
My kids think he is the most magnificent person they've ever met.
He is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
His ability. Well,
he's the most creative person I've ever met.
The turtle. Have you heard his turtle poem?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The turtle poem. And then, well, he said that night in Whitefish, he says, have my turtle jersey here. And then he read the poem and he goes, this jersey is for sale off my bat.
Yeah.
First 200 gets it, right? And tomorrow I'm turning it into weed. And he's just so clever. And his website, his website is ADHDcool.com.
Yeah, that makes sense.
he's and well, the Armadillo song that Miranda got, he's just so talented. 2 number ones in the last year, right?
Yeah.
Lainey Wilson and then Ella and Riley.
Yeah. You look like you love me.
Yeah, baby. They are so good. And 4x4 by You with Lainey. So he's such a talented guy. But Whitefish have you been to Whitefish?
Never been.
Oh, what a beautiful place. You're at the foot of Glacier National Park.
I'm a mountain guy. I've lived in Tennessee for 30 years and yeah, we have hills, but we don't have mountains.
No, you don't have mountains.
And I taught wilderness survival for 4 years in the Sierras. Really? And so I really miss the mountains. I just got back before I came to Vegas, I was up in the Canadian Rockies.
Oh, really?
And just went hiking for 2 days.
Okay. Okay.
I just love the mountains.
Well, once again, you come to Idaho, you got a place to stay, and we'll go fishing and we'll go shoot and we'll go to Grand Targhee and go see the Grand Tetons. I'm in. So, and Jackson Hole.
Again, you don't have to sell it anymore.
Come on, let's go. We're headed home Monday. We drove. We're only 9 hours.
You got room in the car?
Yeah, we're in the truck. So, I can't. They took them. Oh, they were able to go see. The Northern Lights were going on last year during the weekend at Whitefish.
Yeah.
And I said, when I interviewed Marla, I said, Marla, did you see any livestock, any wildlife? They went up into Glacier. She said, I didn't see a damn thing. She said, a dead deer on the side of the road. And she said, hell, I see that at home. But
I mean, I saw bear, I saw elk, I saw deer, I saw the elk were,
bugling.
Will
that raise the hair on the back of your neck?
Like
or what?
3 a.m. Just,
yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Now we don't have any elk right there where we're at because we're in the Snake River Valley. But big farming, a lot of that going on, but we're not very far. You literally can see the Tetons from our back.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay. It's done deal. All right. So what's next on Stormy's, forecast?
The storm forecast.
The storm forecast.
We're just building this big 615 brand.
Sure.
And it's on a global scale for the first time. I've been in North America for 20 years, but this is on a global scale. And actually, we have 60% of our listeners are overseas, 40% domestic. And it just shows you the growth of country music around the world. I host a festival in Australia every March called CMC Rocks, and I've been doing that for over 15 years. And to see the exponential growth and passion and obsession for country music around the globe. Garth and I agreed that when we started this channel, we wanted to build it to make the world a smaller place through country music. And
well, the world has definitely gotten smaller in our lifetime, right?
Yeah.
It is.
It's all connected.
But it's all connected. But country music just connects us.
That is the conduit.
Yeah. Yeah. It really truly is. That's the
music
common denominator. We tell everybody on our podcast. We said, look, there's, in my opinion, there's 4 components to the perfect music equation, right? The song,
right?
Songwriter, the artist, the venue, and the fan. And
the fan is the most important part.
And without a doubt, without the fans, you don't have it. But without any one of those other pieces of that equation, it doesn't work.
people always say, so you're a celebrity. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm a conduit between the artist, the music, and the fan.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm a connector. And that's the only thing I've was put on this earth to do.
Sure.
And so it's kind of the Johnny Carson approach to what I do, where it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's never been about me. It's
Agreed.
been about the songwriter, the artist, and the fan. And if they remain in the forefront of my focus, then I've done my job. But it's never been about me.
Well, and I appreciate that about you because, you know, some guys it's about them, right?
Really, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know anybody.
But nonetheless, what our goal was to start this off was to share our love of live music, right, and to introduce you to new artists. You know, there are lots and lots of you, and you know, country music, Nashville country music is kind of mainstream country, right? But there's lots of little
spider webs
of great country music.
Zach Bryan.
And we just got to interview Dale Watson last week.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
And Dale is very interesting. He was at the Braun Brothers reunion, little festival in Idaho.
He's another nut.
And just it was a great interview and an interesting guy.
Yep.
Django Walker, Jerry Jeff's
Yep.
boy, what a great guy he is. Cody Canada and those guys from the Cross Canadian Rag.
Sure, it's country music is more diverse than it's ever been, and they almost need subgenres of country music now. Like you do kind of have red dirt, and you do have alternative country, and you've got mainstream country and old school country. So they're already existing, but I think there's going to be room for more subgenres of country. Well, like what Justin Wilson's creating right now. He's creating a thing called emo country.
Emo country. I did not know that.
So it sounds like stuff like Blink 182 meets country music.
Okay.
And it's so good.
Oh, I could see that from Justin.
Yeah.
I could see that from Matt. Matt Warren's kind of a unique artist and sound. What's interesting? Well, Dale Watson's created the Ameripolitan Awards. You know that he's got, because you've got honky tonk and you've got folk and
there's room for it all.
Oh, there's room for all of it. Well, cowboy music. I mean,
I'm a Chris LeDoux.
Oh, I interviewed Ned. So what a great guy.
And Ned is exactly like his father.
Oh, spitting image.
And they have if you've ever noticed this, if you know Chris LeDoux, and if you've been around him and had the pleasure of speaking to him, he was a good friend of mine for years. And I did his final interview actually. And he would end a sentence and he'd go, well, so yeah. And so yeah was the end of every sentence. And Ned does the exact same thing.
Well, I got to tell you, I reached out to Ned. He was coming to Pocatello, Idaho. And I reached out to Mark Seisel, his manager, and he said, well, we want to do it on Zoom. And I said, no. I said, if I can't do it in person, I don't want to do it. And I'm not being disrespectful, but that's just our
I feel the same way.
And so there's no replacing this. It's like live music versus Memorex, right?
I mean, during COVID, it was great.
Yeah. But in this world we live in, we ought to be able to sit down across from each other. So anyway, Mark says, okay, we'll give you 30 minutes. Well, we showed up and Ned is a little bit reserved.
He's a shy guy.
And so I thought it was, but I said, I wanted this about Ned, not about Chris. Because I was a Chris LeDoux fan. I wore out Garth Brooks's line. I wore out tapes of Chris LeDoux, lots of them, because I rodeoed. And so it was just, but it was a natural thing for me to want to interview Ned. Well, but Ned it was a great interview, and he told some great stories about his dad. He made it, but I didn't know, and most people don't know this about Ned LeDoux. He never intended to be a frontman.
No, he was a drummer.
He was a drummer.
Yeah.
And the very first show he ever played with his dad was in Pocatello, Idaho, right across the way from where I interviewed him.
So it's funny. I got the frontman's job for him for when they after Chris died. And they Western Underground took off on their own.
Right.
And a friend of mine, Lane Turner, I knew would be perfect for it because he's a real cowboy, good looking guy, great singer, artist in his own right. And Ned was like, great, I don't have to do it. And then suddenly Ned somehow got the courage to say, I think I can do this.
He told me that they were after Chris died, they invited him out on a gig to play drums. And after the gig, and I don't know if it was Mark or somebody, maybe it was Lane, said, I'm going to go get a beer, play us a song. And he goes, I don't do that.
Right.
And he goes, no, yeah, I know you know how to play and you can sing your dad's songs. And he goes, yeah, but I don't do that.
Well, apparently he does.
And wait.
I was in the studio when Ned was cutting his version of this old cowboy hat. And he stood there with his dad's cowboy hat on in the vocal booth. And it was like seeing a ghost because they're so identical.
Oh, I know.
I
know. And I told him that. I said, if I close my eyes, I can't tell if it's Ned or Chris. And he goes, that's the best compliment you could give me.
Mm-hmm. Chris LeDoux, for anybody who didn't have the pleasure to know him, he was the perfect role model for how a man should live. I mean, from top to bottom, as a husband, as a dad, as a person and a human, and career-wise, everything. I hope I can get to be 25% of who Chris LeDoux was. Yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah. Well, he was the real deal, world champion cowboy, and that's how I got to know him. And I didn't know him, so let me make that clear. I never met Chris, but I loved his music, and literally the only way you could buy a Chris LeDoux tape at the time was at the Western store.
Yeah.
Right? Or out of his trunk of his car at a rodeo.
Two things about Chris. He taught me how to eat Rocky Mountain oysters. But here's the twist on it. We were at Tumbleweed Calf Fry in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And he goes, have you ever had a Rocky Mountain oyster? I said, no, I have not. And he goes, well, it's time to go get one. I knew what they were.
Yeah.
And they were getting ready to batter them up and fry them. And he takes a raw one and just pops it in. And I went, all right, I'll try it. And I did the same thing. And so Chris and I might be the only ones ever to eat raw Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh, no. I know a few others, but it takes a lot of good beer to wash them down, I'm telling you.
He told me when he was, working cattle, that when they had to castrate the bulls, that you had to do it so fast that if your knife wasn't sharp enough to do it in one swipe, you'd reach down and bite
it with your teeth.
Bite it with your teeth.
Dude, I watched my grandpa castrate sheep lambs that way. They cut the top of the sack off and then squeeze them and pop them and then bite them off. So weird deal. That's a weird story to tell on this music podcast, but that's the reality of life. Chancey Williams, you know Chancey? Yep. Chancey's a great guy. We got to interview him on the podcast. He comes from the Real Deal Ranch in eastern Wyoming, and they run a lot of sheep and a lot of cattle.
Yeah,
and he is a working cowboy. He is for sure the real deal.
And you mentioned David Corlew. He's got tons of cattle on his ranch, and
David got a lot of cattle.
Yeah, and he is a true cowboy.
Well, we're looking forward to getting back out to Nashville and sitting down with David because I know he's got some great stories.
He would love this.
And we have been so blessed. We got to interview Roger Murrah on the podcast.
By the way, David Corlew, if we didn't mention it, was Charlie Daniels' longtime manager for 45 or 47 years. Yep.
Yeah.
And Charlie was the reason I moved to Nashville.
Is he really?
It was the first album I ever bought at 9 years old. I was obsessed with the storytelling of Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
He didn't just paint pictures, he created movies with his songs. And my imagination was running wild at 9 years old. And so he just sucked me in. And then I'm in LA working at CNN, and I heard that he was in town. So I asked the entertainment producer, I said, can I go interview Charlie Daniels? I said, Stormy, you're a cameraman. I said, I know, but I want to do this part of it. And he goes, all right, I'll give you a camera and an editor. You go interview him, put together a story, and if we like it, we'll air it, and then you can do another one. I said, all right, so I figure, what do I have to lose?
Right.
So that's how I met Charlie Daniels for the first time. And every time he came through LA for the next 5 years, I found a way to get him on CNN. And he was pretty hot. I mean, Simple Man was a big record for him. But he wasn't at the top of the charts. He wasn't.
Right.
People knew him or knew of him, but I wanted to make it a point to get him in the spotlight whenever I could.
Right.
And he appreciated that. And so one day he puts his arm around me, and years later, and he puts his arm around me in the break room at CNN, and he goes, son, you're finally getting pretty good at this. It's time you came to Nashville. I said, all right. He goes, do you know what you would do? And I said, I want to work for Crook and Chase. He goes, I can help with that. And 2 weeks later, I loaded up my truck and moved out to Nashville and got a freelance job at Crooked Chase because of a handwritten recommendation letter that he wrote to Lori Ann Crook.
Oh my gosh, what a story.
It gets better. So then his wife finds me my first house to rent, Hazel, who's a gem of a human being. And then through the years, through the decades, it's always been Charlie Daniels. So I host his Journey Home project for the veterans.
Okay.
I host that event every year. I hosted his volunteer jam every year. I spoke at his Lifetime Achievement Award for leadership music on his behalf. And all these things just connected us. When I launched my TV show, Charlie Daniels was the one at the press conference introducing me as the host. And so my kids call him Uncle Charlie. They grew up with him from babies. And,
right.
And so he was one of the closest people ever in my life. And when we lost him in COVID in 2020, it devastated me. First person to call me was Vince Gill. And he goes, "Hey, it's Vinny." And it was a long hour-and-a-half conversation just sharing Charlie Daniels' story. And then as soon as that phone call ended, the next phone call was from David Corlew. And he's in tears. He goes, "Stormy, I need a favor." I said, "I know what it is." He goes, "So you'll be there?" I said, "Yep." And I officiated Charlie Daniels' funeral.
Oh,
so you're talking about the first album you bought at 9 years old and that full circle of life story. I don't know any story that could top that one.
No. I will tell you one that David shared with me. He said when Charlie Daniels came to Nashville, he said he couldn't get arrested. Yeah. Nobody wanted to work with Charlie Daniels.
Until Bob Dylan.
He got to play on Dylan's album, Nashville Skyline. And he said after that, everybody wanted a piece of Charlie.
But do you know the whole story about that session was he was a fill-in guitar player on a session. One guy couldn't make it. He was sick. So someone who knew someone said, "Well, there's a new kid, Charlie Daniels."
Right.
And he came in and played the 2-hour session or 4-hour session. And he's packing up his guitar. And Bob Dylan goes, "Where are you going?" He goes, "That's it. I was just a 4-hour session." He goes, "No, you're staying." And Bob Dylan, so Charlie credits Bob with everything.
Oh yeah, well that's what David said. He said, Charlie probably got even with some guys that didn't want to work with him.
Yep.
That then wanted to work with him. He said, "Yeah, I don't think so."
No,
so
he did it his own way. This is a story that's out there online, but I'll tell it to you. I spoke at a Opry tribute to Charlie Daniels just a few weeks ago. And I said, the two best pieces of advice I ever received from Charlie Daniels. I was going through some stuff in my career, and I had his cell phone, but I never used it. It's like, you don't call Charlie Daniels.
Right.
You don't. But I went, you know what? He probably's got some good advice. So I called his number, and he picks up at half a ring. And he goes, "Yeah, son." And I'm like, I forgot what I was going to ask him. And I went through my whole diatribe of things that I thought were wrong in my world and needed help with. And he goes, "Oh, it's easy, son. Do it better." I said, "That's it?
Better."
And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it. Do it better." I'm like, "Okay." And I thought about it, and he's right. Do it better. And then the second time, a few years later, same thing, going through what I thought was drama at the time. "Yeah, son." Went through my long thing again, and he goes, "Oh, that's easy, son. Don't overthink it." So I have those two pieces of advice carved into wood in my studio. Do it better and don't overthink it. And I don't know any part of life that can't benefit from those two pieces of advice. Oh, no,
without a doubt. We always overthink.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to, I've started playing the guitar in the last 2 years, and sometimes I want to overthink it. And shooting was another thing. I'd give lessons, and somebody like, "Well, and I'm like, dude, just look at the target and pull the trigger."
My teacher for sporting clay, he goes, "Everyone's got an inner animal in them. Trust your inner animal. Don't let your brain take over."
Oh, absolutely. That's perfect advice. Just instinct, right?
Yeah.
Just bang, bang.
If you're aiming, you've lost.
Yeah, well, you can't aim a shotgun. You have to point a shotgun,
right?
And you have to just focus on the target.
Yeah.
But we had a thing in Hawaii. We tell people, cheek fat is your friend, right? So
Right.
make sure your gun's mounted on your face, point your finger down the side of the barrel, and look at the target. If you'll do those three things,
That's it.
you're going to break
And
a lot of
trust-
targets.
and trust your
instinct.
your inner animal.
Inner animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, and that's a lot in a lot of things we've done in our lives. I'm kind of a fly by the seat of your pants. I'm not afraid to.
You and me both, kid.
I'm not afraid to make a decision. Go, hey, let's go. We got
My
invited
wife
yesterday.
hates me. My wife hates me for that because she's an overthinker. And
This one trusts me.
yeah, but we'll be looking at vacation places, and I'll see the first thing. I'll go, yep, let's book that. And she goes, we can look around. I said, why? That looks great.
Yeah.
So let's
yeah.
just do that one.
Listen, I know this. If it's got sunshine, a pool, she's
in.
She's in. So she's not a hard sell on that. But I will tell you, this was. I walked into a meeting July 1st last year. I was the brand president for a manufacturing company, and they said, Byron, we can't afford you anymore. And so they were in trouble financially. They've since filed bankruptcy and closed the place down, sold it off. But
I think you found a better gig.
our daughter said to us, she said, what are you going to do, Dad? And I said, I don't know. And she said, I think you and Mom ought to start a podcast. And I went, that's a great idea. Let's do that. And I'm telling you, Stormy, in 3 days, I had a Zoom, I had microphones, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I'd been on a podcast once before.
Yeah.
So I thought, I can do this. And I was a rodeo announcer.
I'm proud of you. That's
Well, thank you.
It's really cool. Thank you for celebrating music, man. Whoops, sorry. That's my
Right.
That's my wife, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get you out of here because
Well,
you've got a show to do.
Yeah, I got to go interview Victoria Shaw and Dean Dillon right now.
Dean Dillon, what a guy!
You
We
should come on
interviewed him
over.
yesterday.
Come on over.
Oh yeah. Well, if we're gonna interview some fans. So
Okay.
after this, actually, they're part of the organization. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Stormy, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This has been such a pleasure and an honor.
It's an honor for me. Thank you for letting me share some crazy
Oh,
stories.
they're great. But you know what? Before you get out of here, I'm going to make you sign this guitar.
Sure.
And we are going to get back out to Nashville one of these days.
No, forget that. I'm coming out to Idaho.
And you're welcome anytime. You have my number.
I do. I tried to call it earlier.
I
You
know.
didn't
And,
answer.
well, it's because we record on it. Shanda goes, Stormy's trying to call us, and we had Chatty Billy, and I loved it. I told Billy, I said, I could talk to you for 2 hours.
He's one of my favorite humans ever.
Great guy.
Yeah. Well, they all are. That's why
Yeah.
I do this. That's why I do this.
Awesome,
And
awesome.
Thanks
Hey,
for loving
thank you again. Hey, for Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duffin, with Stormy Warren.
See
we'll
ya.
see you somewhere
See
down
ya
the
in
road.
Idaho.
Adios.